parts of all my lies. Didn't get to solve it this time. How am I to break apart? Don't tell me why we can't collide. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Don't you feel it? Don't you feel it? On the break of dawn, I'll follow you to carry on. On the break of dawn, I'll follow you to carry on.
Good morning. Welcome everybody to TeamODZ Live. I am Justin Wagner and this is the Thursday Pizza Burner Ride. And here we go. We've got about 5.5 minutes to start. And yeah, let's do this. Well, thank you, Wagz, for resubscribing. Looks like maybe our messages aren't coming through for some reason. Hey Casey, welcome. Oh, apparently I can't spell pace. That's what you get. Make riding great again. Oh man. Good morning, Nick, on the live stream. Glad to have you. 2 minutes away from starting.
Do we know if Eric found a way to break into Zwift headquarters early in the morning to ride?
Well, He said, it's going to be more work than it's worth.
Ah,
I take that as a no.
a no.
So I said in chat, Eric is at Zwift HQ. Apparently they don't ride bikes there.
You know, you'd think they'd have like a nice 24-hour Zwift gym set up. Just saying. You just let him know it's more fodder for the cannon of he's lost ride leader role.
Is this cycling chat room 1? Is that what we're in?
I think so, yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Yay. 10 seconds. Let's get this thing rolling. Welcome, Ben. Haha, it's the first of the month. Very first day of the month. True story. I remember that because we try to get reservations for an activity we take our church youth to do, and on the first of the month they open it up for like 3 months out, and the slots we're trying to get are always busy. So like, I woke up and the first thing I do is like, get reservations. They're open. Book it.
Yep, I know how that feels for the Parks and Rec here in Bend. If you don't, like, they open up like 6 months ahead of schedule, and they open at midnight. And if you're not up at midnight refreshing the page, your kid ain't doing summer sports. Yeah, and even then, there's probably like one spot for every 5 spots they really need. It's a mess.
Yeah, and we had like 21 reservations actually on Tuesday, but only had 11 people show up. So I was like, well, that's what we get for having to book 3 months out. I have zero idea how many people are going to show up.
That's tough.
All good.
Hard to schedule 3 months out. Sometimes for families, it's hard to schedule 2 weeks out. I mean, I'm basically daily texting my family group chat going, okay, who's actually going to be home for dinner tonight? So it's kind of a revolving thing. By 10 o'clock, you have to text the group chat if you're home for dinner or not. So I know who to make dinner for. That's what my life is now.
Yeah. Family chef.
Yeah.
Are you not a fan of leftovers? So you can't make dinner for the whole family and have half leftovers for the next day?
Fair question.
Oh, I have nothing against leftovers, and I always make leftovers for myself, so to take to work. But my kids seem to be a little bit too bougie. It's like last
So
night.
is that a problem with the kids or a problem with...
I know where you're going with that. I was like,
Huh. I mean, if they have a problem with leftovers, then they would have to prepare their own meal then. It seems like a fairly easy solution.
Yeah. The problem with that is I let my youngest make his food. Even though he's 15, all he will eat would be dino chicken nuggets.
Well, you let him get scurvy one time, and then
Oh man, those things are like so bad nutritionally wise. Oh, and they smell. I cannot to this day. Like he cooks them in the microwave, and the entire house smells like dino chicken nuggets. I want to gag.
he needs his own kitchenette outdoors.
Yeah,
I guess that's overfitting now for allowing the whole family to cook for themselves.
I mean, they have their own fridge in the garage now. That was an amazing saving grace.
So now you just need to move a microwave in there, and you're all set.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, the real answer is just move them out of the house, period. But
Oh, you got 3 years for that
yeah, oldest
minimum.
goes to college this summer. Youngest, well, I don't know. I think he's going to be a failure to launch. So we'll see.
We always have more leftovers than we need, and it's always like, oh, we went grocery shopping. First thing you got to do is put all the leftovers down the disposal. They're taking up too much room in the fridge.
Yeah.
We have a whiteboard next to the fridge for what needs to be eaten, and it's usually the running list of leftovers in order,
Oh, that's good.
just to try, not necessarily always succeed, to cut down on food waste. Like we buy
Right.
carrots by the 5-pound bag, so it's hard to keep track of exactly how many carrots are left without physically opening the fridge.
Sure.
So, which state are everyone from?
Utah?
Oregon.
Fun. I guess I was, before Switzerland, I was in Washington State.
What part? Seattle?
Seattle, yeah. Seattle proper.
I was born and raised in Spokane.
To this day, I like Cougar Gold every time I can get it.
Pullman. Yep. Cheese made by Washington State University.
Yep. I don't know if they probably make a profit out of it, because like a tin is what it used to be $40, but who knows how much it is now.
Well, hopefully
And
not
we get like
paying
3 tins.
tariffs on it.
That's true. No tariffs on locally made cheese.
Wait, we talking about Tillamook cheese?
Not Tillamook.
I don't know.
Cougar Gold.
Made
I don't know if I
by
can talk to you. I'm a Tillamook man.
I mean, Tillamook is good too, but it's Cougar Gold is just a little like it's aged differently, aged in the tin, and for us being from Western Washington, it's more of a yearly thing and not an all-the-time thing for us.
Sure,
Gotcha.
They don't think they make enough Cougar Gold to sell outside much of a very large market.
Yeah. The scarcity makes it rare and more fun, just different. Imagine if you could only go to McDonald's like once a year, it would become a little more special.
You mean like my once a year pilgrimage to McDonald's for a McRib?
I mean, we'd only get sick once a year? Oh, wait.
Yep. But there's something about that McRib. I know it's terrible for me. I know I shouldn't eat it, but darn it, once a year I'm getting me my McRib.
I allow myself McDonald's chicken nuggets. Out here in Europe, there's at least there's fewer food additives and fewer of the growth hormones. It's I've been able to do things here in Europe that I didn't think was possible, like drink milk.
Oh, and you guys' bread over there is way better.
Bread is different, yeah. The bakery bread is different from the sandwich bread. It is its own category. Sandwich bread is in a completely different aisle from the baguettes and what they call bread here, like the loaves, the freestanding loaves. But they have American sandwich bread too, and it's exactly like it serves the same purpose of it is highly processed, but is in a square form that's perfect for sandwiches. So they each have their uses. But I think U.S. milk is so fresh, right? Like from the cow through pasteurization to the grocery store has got to be something like 3 days or something. And out here they ultra pasteurize this stuff. So it tastes a little different. The texture is a little different. But for whatever reason, I can digest it. So I'm not sure if it is the growth hormones or the processing. I don't have enough data to really figure that one out. Because it was like I accidentally drank regular milk and then realized I didn't have stomach problems. It's like, holy crap, I can drink the milk here.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never been able to handle milk myself, but I can drink the Fairlife ultra filtered stuff, which is probably more like what you're saying. You're getting that.
Yeah,
super
the
highly
pasteurized. Yeah, high temperature pasteurization. And then the milk comes out of like a carton that's shelf stable, so it's not.
Oh,
it's a jug. It's not a jug.
Yeah, this stuff isn't shelf stable. It's still refrigerated, but I mean, I grew up in a small town where we had farms all around us and dairies. I mean, I'm drinking milk from a cow that was in the cow 5 minutes before. So.
What? Not straight from the nipple? Come on, Casey.
No, I didn't go that far.
Hope I don't get banned for saying that word.
Nipple. Teat? What's the correct term for the cow's mammary glands? Udder? Sure.
Utterly poor choice of words.
No, the udder.
I didn't even pay attention to what route we're on today.
Big ring.
All right.
Looks like we're going to be just under 2 full laps.
All right, easy day. I almost saved it for this ride, but I ended up finally got the stupid Tron bike.
Ooh, so you climbed. Doesn't that require 50,000 or 50,000 meters of climbing?
Yeah. I kicked off that challenge for a while and did the factory tour, so. And then I kind of forgot about it on the factory tour. And then I realized the other day, I was like, oh, I'm only like 2,000 meters away. I probably should just finish that one.
Right. Well, congratulations on the Tron.
Yeah, now that it's not worthy.
Now that they've made it one of the worst bikes in the quiver as of 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Gotta love my timing.
I just want to level up this beach cruiser.
I've got this one fully upgraded, and that's the SL. And that's pretty much the only bike I really care about, so. I've been trying to figure out which in real life bike I'm going to buy, and that's a whole can of worms.
Well, we got a lot of time on this ride. If you want to discuss with the rest of us, like, are you looking at a particular group set or frame or make
Well,
or price range?
My requirements are must have power meter.
Well, that's a
More than
third-party
likely.
edition.
Yeah, but a lot of the bikes now, especially like, see, Factor, Canyon, what was the other one? Yeah, and they all come with, especially on the SRAM side, come with the pork-based. Well, it's not called pork anymore, but they bought pork.
What ones are Canyon reselling?
SRAM.
Okay.
There's
I've been happy with my
an
pork.
interesting.
I was on a Quark power meter back when they were a Kickstarter. Like, shoot. Well, it was when I was stationed in Hawaii, so like 15 years ago.
Is there something special about Canyon parts that would like require a longer like service duration if you dropped it off at a bike shop?
Well, yes and no.
It's
They're
because
starting
right
to
now
make-
everybody and their dog wants their bike serviced.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's also the issue of if you read the Canyon Reddit forum, you start getting a lot of people pissed off about their spare parts policy. So there's basically a guy who, it's been a couple incidences where they damaged the fork and they wanted to buy a new fork and they couldn't.
What?
Canyon basically said, you gotta buy a whole new bike. And wouldn't even cut him a deal.
So
That's
Canyon
silly.
just doesn't have the spare parts.
Or they don't
Well,
have
and
their...
the other issue is Canyon is not US. I mean, yes, their major store is down in San Diego somewhere, but they're technically a European company.
Yeah, they're in Germany. They're in Munich. Or I visited. I like waved next to their factory store. I didn't get to tour them, but a lot of their showroom is out there.
And I really like their bike. Like, I would really love to have an Aero Road.
Yeah, that's actually the one I'm kind of looking at for my next bike. Next, in real life bike.
It's just, I don't know.
But there, all the shops around here. Literally, like last week, I noticed they said if you have a Canyon bike, we can't service it here. I'm like, that's interesting. Why is that? Obviously, I didn't walk in to find out exactly. Like, hey, I saw the sign out front. Why?
There's a lot of bike shops that do not like Canyon because Canyon cuts them out. 'Cause they can't sell them. Because Canyon's
that's
straight
right.
from manufacturer. The only partnership Canyon has right now is with REI, and it's only select REIs are Canyon authorized repair shops,
Right on.
and some that are the Canyon authorized repair shops will start carrying spare parts. 'Cause the issue they've been
Alright,
having
so-
is even to buy like small little like nuts and bolts is the shipping was horrendous. So now they're going to try to pre-stage some stuff at these like REIs and use REI's distribution network.
Okay. Thanks. I definitely wanted to understand like what's special about Canyon other than the direct to consumer model.
Sure.
Yep. And that's kind of pissed off the local bike shop because they don't get a cut.
That makes sense.
So then they're not incentivized to fix your Canyon either,
Nope.
since you didn't buy from them. All right. Dang, that's food for thought. Because I have a bike stand, but I am really too lazy to take my bike outside and wash it and clean the dry. Like I clean the chain every once in a while, but I almost can't be bothered to even swap out the brake pads and make sure the wheel is realigned. I just want to hop on the bike and ride. And like I'll pay money for someone else to do that.
Yeah, I have no issue with doing the majority of the maintenance, but it's always nice to have that backup plan of,
Yeah.
all right, Mr. Bike Shop guy, I screwed up.
Well, like this morning, I just spent 3 hours taking the bottom bracket out and servicing the whole thing, short of replacing the bearings. So it was 3 hours of work, and it turns out that that wasn't even the problem. Like everything about the bottom bracket looked, and the crank arm looked fine. Maybe the inner chainring had a little bit more grit than it needed, but then I noticed that when I backpedal, there's resistance. So it's not the hub, but the, I don't know what it's called, the something in the cog or the derailleur.
Probably
So
your
I basically
derailleur.
so I spent 3 hours cleaning the wrong part. It's like, I could have been outside.
Struggle's real.
Yeah, it's like, I know how to do it, but is it worth 3 hours of my time versus paying a mechanic probably 3 hours to service the whole bike instead of one part? Because I have to take constant pictures to make sure I know how everything fits back in. and still probably screw it up at least once.
That's definitely a lesson I've learned over time is my time is worth money.
Yeah,
Sometimes...
especially like... Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no worries. No, sometimes it's like, it's nice to do it yourself and you don't mind spending the time and it's therapeutic and it's fun. But other times, it's like the yearly get rid of all the pine needles and leaves in my backyard because it's pretty much naturescapes. I, unfortunately, have a severe allergy to like moss and mold.
I thought you were going to say yard work. I have the same yard work allergy.
Yeah. Oh, my wife calls it that, don't worry. But it's not worth it to me to spend, a full day outside suffering and then not be able to breathe for like 2-3 days when I'd rather just say, spend $600 to $800 on some yard company and say, get it done.
Yep.
It sucks to spend that money, but it's worth it.
Well, I spent close to, I think, 2,000 to 3,000 for allergy shots, like injections for my hay fever, because I had this love-hate relationship with the sun. It's sunny out, I should go outside. But that also means all the tree and grass is dumping their pollen in the air. And I would bike outside one day and then be not able to breathe the next day. Or, eyes runny, nose dripping. So, yeah, I was like, I almost rather bike in the rain than deal with the allergies the next day. It was that bad. So 2 years of that, and it's mitigated it quite a bit.
Well, I don't have the same allergy, but I think Casey and I understand the basement Zwift cave dweller approach. The other reason is there's these things called cars outside.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
in
not so
2019,
on the road.
oh, go ahead.
I've heard how dare they be on the road.
Right? It's not like they're paying taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Well, I am glad to say that European drivers are way more courteous.
Oh, for
They
sure.
don't treat cyclists as second-class citizens. In
They don't
fact, they
treat
wait for
cyclists
me
as
to climb up
targets?
the hill. Correct. I've only been honked at once when I basically missed my green light. I was staring at the wrong set of lights. But, yeah, they don't try to run you off the road. Some rural drivers, though, they aren't really paying attention because they figured I know the roads to my hometown, so they're not actually looking at the road. They'll basically take blind turns at speed and not realize there's a bike coming in the other direction. But they're not aggressive. They're just sometimes aloof. even in the cities. Is it bad in Utah and Spokane? No, sorry, it's not Spokane.
Oregon, Bend, Oregon's where he's from.
Oregon.
So I used to commute a lot. Well, I used to work in the office, and when I did work in the office, I thought, hey, it was like 15, 20 miles to work. Why not? That's a great workout. Until one morning, coming out of a canyon with the sun behind me, a truck didn't see me. I didn't make it into work that day. For about 6 months afterwards, when they had me not staring at screens because major concussion. Luckily, that was pretty much the worst of it. But so it's like,
truck delivery.
5 kids, kind of need a dad. I mean, riding outside is great. It's like slowly transition to basically working out on Zwift in the mornings, and every now and then I'll do Saturday outdoor events. But with all the kids activities on Saturdays, not like every Saturday. For sure.
Yeah, it sucks that you had to make that choice, that decision. Like, you couldn't just enjoy the road.
I mean, it's not like I will ride outside. It's just like, plus I've invested far more into tech setup, and I'm a total nerd, so I do love some Zwift. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely more like, this is very safe, and I get a very efficient, fast workout, and I get to play with technology. Okay.
It's a win-win-win.
And then I don't even own a bike with wheels. I mean, yes, you can probably see that on the wall, but it's my old first original frame, so it really doesn't count. But I took 10 years off the bike and only got back on this last September.
Oh, congratulations.
And all I got is the Zwift frame. So I got nothing with wheels. Started putting on a little bit too much dad body weight, so
Fatherly figure.
yeah, I was becoming Father Christmas.
Oh, jeez. Do you have a weight goal? Like, you're trying to cut a certain amount?
Well, when I started on Zwift in the middle of September, I was right at about 213, 215, give or take. I really don't have a good number, but I know it's between those two numbers. And then as of Monday of this week, I was down to 149.
Holy cow. And do you have much more that you want to lose for your frame, like for your body size, the body type,
I mean,
before you like lose muscle?
So I think my body, when I was racing a lot in Hawaii, I was 154. So I think I'm pretty much done losing at this point. I mean, I've already had to completely rebuy all my clothes, so I'm kind of done with the whole... I'm the type of person that, I'll get a good pair of pants and I'll wear them for 8-10 years. So it kind of pissed me off to have to buy all new clothes.
Only half of the left butt cheek is visible, honey, not the full thing.
It was finally like the first good day of like good weather here, and I was like, sweet, time to wear shorts. So I grabbed my bin of shorts, put my shorts on, and they just fell right off. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I think I need a Costco trip.
It's funny.
Well, you probably like gained 15 years of healthy living at the tail end of things from dropping 70 pounds. Yeah, so that deserves at least one pair of pants.
Yeah.
one set of pants. Whole new
It's actually
wardrobe.
kinda-
Another wardrobe.
I've told Wagz this story, but like, it's funny. Like, you start gaining weight, no one really says crap to you in America, because that's just normal.
Yeah, that's just normal. Yeah.
But then I lost all the weight, and I kept on having coworkers come up to me and be like, "Are you okay?" I had multiple coworkers ask if I had cancer.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Then I had, just recently, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, coworker comes up to me and goes, "So, what are you on?" It's like, what?
Are you
And
gonna
I'm
die?
They're like, which shot are you taking? And I go, shot? What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Exercise.
Which
And so, like-
which version of Ozempic are you taking?
So then I eventually figured out that's what they were talking about, and I was no, I'm on Zwift. Doing it the right way, eating healthy and riding.
Yeah.
Far more
And then-
addictive.
And then I started
Well,
looking at her face, and I realized, oh shit, she's on Ozempic, and I just made fun of her accidentally. I
But
was like, well,
no.
that's...
yeah.
But I mean, I even got called into my director's office, we're like
Oh, boy.
a couple months in, and they're like, we're really concerned about your health. Do you need to take some time off? Like,
Oh my
what's
gosh.
You
going
know
on?
what?
I'm like,
You should ask if they can subsidize your gym.
Yeah, the doctor says I'm losing too much
Your
weight. I
gym.
need to get stronger. Will you guys subsidize my exercise plan?
yeah.
Your strength training, one-legged squats and kettlebell swings and
But probably the best part was about a year ago, I went to the VA and said, hey, actually it's almost been a year since then. Went to the VA and said, hey, I'm not sleeping very well. Wife says I stopped breathing at night. I'm snoring. I'm getting horrible sleep. So they put in a consult to see sleep study outside of the VA, military. And
Yeah.
I finally get an appointment just for the initial consult for last June. So I show up, and at this point I hadn't started Zwifting yet. And that's kind of the weight I have of the 213, 215. And they're like, oh yeah, you know, you're in the obese category. You've got a small mouth, plus a fat neck. You know, give me all this crap. You need to lose weight. And of course,
Like, I thought my
as a-
mouth was big. That's how we got into this situation.
I was gonna say it doesn't have any problems eating those baguettes, but so like, you know, of course, as a typical American, I just let them say what they had to say, one ear out the other, and then they set me up for my sleep study, which wasn't going to be until early February of 2025. So that's how far backed up they are.
jeez.
Yeah. So fast forward to February. Well, I've been Zwifting since mid-September. So I go in, and I made sure before I left my house, put on the exact same clothes that I was going to weigh in there in my house because I want to see how close my scale was. So we get there, we weigh in, I'm like, oh sweet, my scale's like within like 0.01 pounds. Like, awesome. That's great. So go in the little room, lady comes back in, she goes, hey, do you remember what the scale said? I'm like, yeah. Tell her, she's like, okay. She leaves, comes back in, she goes, you've been flagged in our system. I need to ask you some questions.
Yeah, you're not who you say you are. You're clearly
Like-
an imposter.
I'm like,
How many times do you stick your
okay.
finger down your throat?
Yeah, exactly. So the first question is, she goes, do you have food insecurities? And I'm like, no. She's like, what do you have? Are you struggling financially and unable to buy food? I'm like, no.
Wow.
Like, she's like, do you find yourself removing food from your body? And I'm like, you mean like going to the bathroom? Like, what are you talking about here? And so finally she comes out with it and she goes, well, you've lost more than 25% of your body weight since the last time you were here, so you got red flagged in our system. And I was
So
like,
this is so like about how much weight were you losing a month? Like 10 pounds a month over 6 months?
At first it was just flying off. Now I can pull up my chart. But
you have a chart, of course.
Oh, of course, I'm a data geek.
Weighs every day, of course.
Shit, I weigh 3 times a day. What are you talking about, Wagz?
3 times, like once post poop, pre poop, and post ride.
I weigh pre-ride, post-ride, and before bed.
I'm a once a day, morning, right when I get up.
Before bowel movement or after? This is important.
Before, because my bowel movement is a good 90 minutes after I wake up. I'm not waiting that long to weigh myself.
So this lady, she keeps on going on at me, and I was like, hang on. I was like, you're telling me last time I was here, I was considered obese. You gave me a bunch of crap. And I said, now, and at that point my BMI was like a hair over the dead center of the healthy range, like what you're supposed to be.
Right.
And I was like, my BMI is in the exact range you guys want me to be. But now that I'm in it, you're giving me crap about being less weight. I'm like, I can't win for losing.
I can see their point of view of they want to make sure that you lost it in a safe way. That like you weren't purging every other meal, losing minerals or whatever it is.
And I get it. I can respect it. It just pissed me off.
But it's how you got there.
Yeah.
They just were flabbergasted about. It's like, wait, you lost all this weight without doing all the crazy stuff?
I did what you said.
Think about how many Americans don't do that. How many people go to the doctor's office and don't actually lose weight? They know they need to. Like, I know I have to stop smoking.
Oh, the story gets there. Hang on.
All right.
So I did a sleep study, and basically comes back with nothing. Because now that I've lost the weight, I'm not snoring, I'm getting better sleep, it really works. So fast forward 2 months after that, just recently actually, I see the actual doctor to get the results. And she goes over basically the same thing with me, like, how did you lose the weight? Like, what? Like, are you sure you're not taking the shot? All this, going over and over again.
That's when you show them the chart, right? You show them your weight chart that you've been keeping.
Well, and I had been tracking my calories in an app, and I said, I can show you what I've been eating for the last 6 months. Like, so she basically goes, well, your sleep study came back nothing. She's like, your O2 levels were higher than most people's during the day. You didn't move. You slept great. I go, yeah, I tried to cancel this appointment, but the VA wouldn't let me. I said, as soon as I lost the weight, problems were solved. But she's like, she just was flabbergasted. She kept on saying, she's like, all you did was exercise and eat right? I'm like, yes. She's like, that never happens. I go, I know.
It's a lot harder than people think.
I don't know.
Easy words
I had to actually stick to it and, like, I don't know, be dedicated.
I've always been addicted to endurance sports, so it wasn't. The getting up every day at 3:30 in the morning doesn't bother me.
So Casey, what was it that got you started on like more rigorous cycling and keeping track of calories and weighing yourself? Was there some? Yeah.
Well,
hey guys,
Morning, Miles.
I knew I'd been gaining weight and getting fatter and stuff. And, I'm turning 40 this June. So I'd always ridden my entire life. I took like 10 years off the bike when I, end up with a family and work. Finally works to a point where I can take time off when I need to. And then one day I was on Facebook and I saw an ad for the Zwift frame. And I was like, well, that's cool. And then I looked at it, and then I had it ordered within like 3 days. And then, as Wagz knows, I'm a data geek. I always had a power meter from the very get-go. So you get me on something that is hooked up electronically, and I can track the heck out of every little bit of data, you know, that's the incentive I need. And then you start losing the weight.
Similar stories.
And then you start losing the weight, and you're like, well, crap, I feel so much better.
Right.
So there's just kind of a collection of small events, but it's like, I think if I hadn't have seen that Facebook advertisement for this Lift frame, I'd probably still be asleep right now and 220 pounds.
So here's my biking lose weight story. In high school, I was a runner, decent mile time, 4:30. Was pretty fit. Then college, I served a mission, getting married, kid. I was like 180 in high school, so I'm 6'2". And when I graduated with my master's degree, I was 255. So my wife, when I was in grad school, I'd have a buddy come over to do homework. His wife would come, and they would watch The Biggest Loser while I was doing homework, while eating ice cream. I was like, wait a second. So that was her subliminal messages. And then I got a job out of college, and I think a local friend was like, I started just riding like my parents' mountain bike to and from work. And then a friend at church was like, hey, we should go do some rides. Here's this thing called Strava. And I was like, that was the first shot of crack for free. And I was like, wait, segments, KOMs. So this was like in 2014, 2015. And basically by 2017, I won the Cat 3 State Road Race Championship. It was all the way down to 180. So it escalated quickly.
Cat 3 road racing, so not a crit or anything.
I mean, I did crits. I got a few surgeries and broken bikes to prove it.
Oh, I hated doing crits.
But the road race
I'll
was
never do a crit again.
90 miles long, near Seattle. Nobody knew me, so I took an attack with 30 miles to go, and they never saw me again. They were like, who is this loser?
I do a crit, and think I value my life and my bikes too much to do them in the future.
Exactly. Last night, my brother was trying to convince me to do the local weekday night crit in the parking lot, and I was like, he first was like asking my wife, would you allow it? And I'm like, I'm not even interested. I've done too many. No. I'd much rather be on Zwift for 3 hours in the morning.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in like the Cat 4 or 5 crits, where everyone's just banging into each other. It reminds me of mosh pit.
Yeah.
Well, mine's even worse. I made it all the way to Cat 2, just barely. And so now, if I ever race, I basically got to race with the fastest, no matter what, even though I'm back up 30, 40 pounds from where I was. So that ain't happening. Although I have been steadily losing since I've been doing like consistent 5 days a week since the beginning of the year. Trying to at least.
I guess I'll share my weight loss story with cycling too. So I had Wagz. I think you know I'm a doctor. So we, you know, we sort of give up our 20s as a part of training, and you know, it's sort of steadily gaining way through high school, and then into college and medical school and such. And I think I got up to a max of like 230 or so pounds. And so like my third year, yeah, right. My third year of med school, which is like when we do a lot of our clinical rotations, I had a research block over the summer, and we also have to study for our first set of boards then, and parking was like $500 for the summer, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna put that $500 towards the bike. So I got like a hybrid giant, you know, cheap.
Sucks at mountain biking, so it sucks at road biking. I think I got the same one.
Yep. So, you know, but rode that back and forth and to work, and you know, just sort of was like, I feel pretty good with this. And then med school, like clinical rotations happened, and you know, I'm like showing up to surgery at 4 a.m. I'm like, that's no good for anything. So when I got into residency, I was down in North Carolina, and we would do this thing called Q3 call. So every third day, you would do a 28-hour call. And I learned that I was horrible at falling asleep after I got back home from work in the morning on the second day. And so it was a really nice bike trail through Durham, and I just started riding the trail post-call. I was delirious, you know, after being up for 2 days basically, but
right.
It was fun, and I started losing a lot of weight, and I think I lost like 60 pounds or 70 pounds over about, I don't know, like a year or so. And so my wife decided that I had cancer, and so, you know, did all these evaluations, and yeah, I was no longer pre-diabetic or hypertensive or any.
Turns out you're just psychotic.
Yeah, so pretty much, you know the story. And then, yeah, I think the rest, you know, sort of goes from there. Got my first road bike, and loved road biking, and you know, just was primarily outdoors. Then we moved to Hershey, PA, following my training, and like lots of great farm roads and stuff. Just fell in love with it, and then discovered Zwift in like December of 22. The rest is history. So
awesome.
So was the important question, is Hershey the city named after the chocolate company or the other way around?
Yeah.
Hershey is the city named after the man Hershey, Milton Hershey. Yeah.
Who started the company?
Yep. Yeah. There's all these weird Pennsylvania town rules. So Hershey, the town, is actually a subsection of Derry Township, which is the original town name. So Hershey doesn't really exist. It's sort of a figment of our imaginations, actually. It's a legal name, but it's you know, it's the town where the the chocolate factory was started.
So
So
it was a company town at one point.
yeah, it was a model town, and it was like a farm town in the 1800s, and it was chosen because there's a lot of milk producers, and it's basically like milk country here. Had a good railroad system to bring in the cocoa, and so Hershey.
They brought in Coco
so-
Cadence on a rail car? That's how she got in? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that the chocolate factory was here, and it was the only chocolate factory for a long time. But now, I mean, there's a lot of them. For Hershey, there's 3 in town. So the old building is mostly broken down. It's a administrative building now. Sorry, going at the jungle here.
Yeah, it's all good.
But the Reese's plant is in town. And,
Yes.
the Kisses
Road
plant's
trip
in
next
town.
week.
Yep. And they just built a new factory that is just opening and doing a bunch of weird things. So it actually does smell like chocolate and peanut butter here. And it's occasionally really hard to drive past the factory. So, but it's sort of neat.
You gonna hold 2.5 on the climb, Wagz? I thought there was a lot of complaining about the pace again.
I'm at the very back. Yep. One guy claimed
Yeah.
he would
Exactly 2.5 from.
remove his half of his manlyhood if we actually did hold 2.5. I said, "Here, hold my in Formula 369."
There's all these people that don't understand that watt per kilo means your weight plays into it.
Yep. And depending on the incline,
Yeah.
that pure watts can matter, especially on flats. Like I'll usually average under 2.5 because I'm quite a bit larger than most people here. I'm at like 216 right now.
Well, being a Zenner, I'm going like up at 2.9 to 3. Or I guess up to 3.2 it's looking like.
Really hard when the pitch changes to be constant.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had any complaints from the flyers yet, so.
There'll always be someone who complains about the watts per kilo.
Yeah.
Because they have too many kilos or too few watts.
Yeah.
Usually, too few kilos. On the flats, at least. They're like, I'm holding 3.0. Like, yeah, but that's 60 watts.
There was a guy the other day on some group ride I was in. He was complaining, and he was going off, and I was like, his numbers don't make sense. And so I did the whole view him to see like what bike he was on and stuff. He was on the BMX, and I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna say anything.
Mouth shut.
That was always like off-putting for Zwift games this year. You know, they neutralized the bikes. So I had like people, you know, flying past me on BMX bikes, feeling totally inadequate. Yeah.
I loved all the complaining when the big spin was going on and people weren't getting the BMX bike.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny, I didn't even intentionally ride anything that was big spin, and I ended up doing the second ride I ever did that I didn't even know was going to be a big spin event and I got the BMX bike.
Yeah.
I did it once.
I think I got it on the second spin too.
But there's people like, I've done 28 events and haven't gotten it. I keep getting the hat. Okay. It's a game, people. Oh, Wagz. Stoking the fire. Oh.
So I don't have much of a weight loss history, more than an injury recovery history.
Ooh, let's hear it.
So that's nice.
I guess. Yeah, I figured I'd contribute after hearing everyone else's story. So originally I was a runner, so I was in that same mile range. I was more of a 450 miler,
Okay.
but my event was the 2 mile, where I would basically be sub 10, basically like exactly the
nice.
same mile pace. So that was my event, the 2 mile. But then I obviously, after high school, it's like, what do you do? I'm not quite fast enough to compete in college.
Yeah.
Not in Division 1 anyways.
Nope.
Like, those people were doing like 9:20, who knows, whatever it was. I remember looking at the sheet and going, if I trained with the team, maybe at the end of 4 years of constant PR, I might be their number 7 person, you know?
I didn't even make it
So it
to
just wasn't
varsity
worth it.
districts with my 430 because there was kids running 410.
Jeez, yeah, I think I made it to, in California, I made it out of county, but I couldn't make it into regionals with my 450. So anyways, during college, I just did like local 5Ks, the occasional half marathon, and training for the marathon, you know, school happened. So I ended up like skipping 2 months of training essentially, and then jumping right back in, like assuming like, and of course that led to, I think that's what led up to some sort of tendonitis in the calf, because I just jumped back in after missing 2 months of training for a marathon.
Have the same thing. That's all right.
So it was one of those, at that point on, I just thought, this is my life. I wake up, my calf is sore, I go running on it, after about half a mile or so, it's gone, so it's probably safe to run on it, right? 5 years of this, I'm still doing this every day. I just feel like my calf is just a little sore all the time. It doesn't seem to be getting any worse. It probably is gradually getting worse. Like, I am probably like creating micro tears every single time I'm running on it and not really letting up. So I play Ultimate Frisbee one day where it's sudden stop, you know, sprint,
Yes.
other side, stop, sprint back, rinse, repeat. And on one of those sprints, just a pop happened in my leg. It felt like someone kicked me in the back of the shin, or back of the ankle. And I look around, and obviously there's no one around me. I had to be carried over to someone's car, driven to the hospital, because my attendant decided that was the day to snap.
Yep. Achilles rupture, huh?
Yep, Achilles tendon rupture. So after sewing it back up and doing a little bit of PT, the soleus, it's one of the 3 calf muscles, had completely atrophied after the healing. So basically, I can't really run competitively because I can't push off with one foot as hard. So really, I have cycling left. I started basically cycling after that. Just having like maybe the occasional commute, I wasn't really serious into cycling. Still not super serious, but I would like to get better. Maybe find a road race, but I'm still a little chicken about like my handling skills aren't great. I've done one trip and it was terrifying.
Pick a fondo. Do a fondo every quarter or so. Competitive. Yeah.
There are a couple of grand fondos I did around Seattle. Like they were gravel, like a mixed gravel and road. I don't think it was competitive. It was just I just want to finish something. But
the thing is, you can get as competitive as you want in a fondo. There'll always be people racing.
If you're up in the front, you can race, but you don't have to.
What are you talking about? Fondos are always just cafe rides, zone 2 the whole time.
If you're on a bike, it's a race. Prove me wrong.
There's two people next to each other.
Yeah, true. Okay, more than one person are on a bike within a mile of each other. It's a race.
Yeah. So mostly, I want to just build up my FTP a little bit. I started doing the racing series here, like not just the occasional Zwift race. See how far I can take it.
Nice. I had Achilles tendonitis my senior year because I realized I was good at distance, so I skipped basketball season to just go all in on training to break the school record of the mile. Got Achilles tendonitis, and they used like electro steroid stuff to basically make it heal faster. And I did race before districts, but I only tied my PR, so they were having me do like bike running in the pool while doing this. I don't know what it's called, but basically I think they pump steroids through the muscle with electricity.
I have no clue about that.
So, I've been on steroids. No big deal. Maybe it wasn't actually even any medicine. Maybe it was just the electricity stimulating it. I have no idea.
Who knows?
Was it a topical steroid cream?
I mean, I just remember there was like 2 pads. They were attached like below and above the Achilles. And then like I'd sit there for a while it was doing its thing. So I didn't know if there was no injection. So maybe it went through the skin. Maybe there was no steroids. Again, this was like, 3 years ago when I was in high school. Didn't. So I don't remember.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, well, I didn't make it to varsity districts. And even if I made it onto the varsity track team, I'm positive I'm not getting a scholarship. And I'm positive I won't be employing myself as a runner long term. So I should go all in on my degree. And I got that.
That's a safe bet, right? A safer bet.
Yeah. Pretty sure computer engineer pays more than long distance runner. I mean, I'm sure there's some long distance runners that put me to shame. For sure. Like,
Yeah.
Kipchoid, I don't know what he's making, but plenty.
You can always tell which people came from the BMTR rides. in the chat.
When they say "wee."
Well, I would,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Those are the people that weigh 2 or 3 stone more than you.
Not the person
They
who weighs
also
1
get-
stone less after me holding 2.5. Oh, not that.
They are also the ones that get really, really mad if you go over the allotted watt per kilo or don't hang out by the yellow beacon.
Yep.
They get really, really pissy.
Oh, the light people, or the heavy people.
It's just that whole club. They're probably
BMTRs. They're pretty good. Have really
they
solid
have
group
probably the
rides.
most people. Yeah,
Yes.
but whew,
There's a few, they have flyers on there, but like, and I always fly, but like, I always
we
still
still
get
love
yelled at by someone. Hey, you know, I always still get yelled at by someone. It's always fun. Which is part of the reason that I want to fly. You know?
We just wish we were as fast as you, Miles. That's why we have to make fun of you to deal with our own insecurities.
I'm not really that fast. I'm second wheel today.
traffic time.
Oh yeah.
And it is for the real stuff.
Like actual coffee.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yep, someone just took you up on that in the flyers here.
The best would be if you were in a race that had coffee enabled. Somebody goes in a breakaway, you bridge up to them and pop your coffee right when you're on their wheel.
That's the strategy, right?
Exactly. And it will, I've done some testing, it will bridge you up a couple seconds, like maybe up to 3 to 5 seconds. But it won't even engage anything further away than that. So you have to be within. But if you're only near one person, and then like YouTube pass somebody who's stopped, it's about a 50% chance that you're gonna connect to the stopped person and just stop instantaneously.
Yep.
I feel like as a team, you can abuse this, right? If one person takes off,
For sure.
one person takes a coffee break, so when they come back, they pull people along while one person takes a coffee break.
Well, most races just disable coffee. I'm pretty sure I think you have to enable it, although it's disabled by default. It's only good group rides have it.
I don't think I've ever seen a race with coffee.
I think this one I was thinking about was like just a very competitive group ride where flyers were, smashing it.
Yeah, the Applewood one on Thursdays. It's like that. It's usually like an in-group flyer chase thing that happens, and you don't dare use coffee up there, but it's an
It's funny how many people get all uppity about the coffees.
Yeah.
That's why, as the ride leader, I have to just make it normal and use it. It has nothing to do with my fitness level. It's just for the people.
I saw some people take coffees on the uphill.
Oh, that's the best place to do it. It's just
Heck yeah.
if you do the math on how many you get in the whole ride, and if you wait till it climbs, you'll get fewer. So, yeah.
Yeah. I always wonder, like, there are people, like, especially when doing big ring, this route, like, there are people that use coffee right before the jungle sometimes, and I'm like, oh, like, what? You don't see that coming up, or what?
All right. I think we're going to be closer to 245 or 250 on today's route.
Yeah.
With that big climb.
And we're gonna have to regulate you, you big dog. You got to take you down to 2.2 on the climbs from now on.
You're right. I was holding the whole group back at 2.5.
Oh man, group dynamics. They're so much fun. I'm just here to ride. I don't care.
We're scooping up several people.
Yeah, you should. Are you guys? I think the fires were 3 minutes ahead, maybe. Or is there another fire group in between?
There's another group in between, at least one. I see somebody 23 seconds ahead of us.
Okay, yeah, we lost about half of the front fire group here. Then we have a token person doing 5.1, pretty steady here. So,
You say he's doing 5.1 steady?
yeah, there have been some really good bots out there this week. There was one that was pacing with Constance for the past 2 weeks, and they have their FTP set at 27, and so they're always sprinting, you know.
FTP 27, did you say?
27
27,
watts?
yeah. 27 watts, yeah. So they're always like in the sprint, you know. You know how like
Yes.
you go in the drops, and it's like annoying to ride with, you know.
I'm surprised Glyph even lets you set an FTP that low.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, did you know that the beach
don't
cruiser
discriminate.
allows you to go into arrow position?
Oh, really?
Yes. Here, I can pull up front and show you guys. Doo-doo-doo. There we go. It's very subtle. It's super subtle.
I see it.
All right. I'm going
Also,
back.
we're because we have a carrot, we're strung out.
Because we have a what?
There's a carrot ahead of us.
Oh, that little group in front of us?
Yep.
Actually, I don't know. I know where Wagz is. I don't know where anyone else in this little chat is.
Well, I guess I'm position 34 at the moment. I think I'm the
you're
only
just
one on the
a
beach
little
cruiser,
bit-
so that's really
You're
easy.
just barely ahead of me.
Okay, yeah, I'm 39.
Position 2.
42.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's the
flex.
fancy pants doctor number 2.
Yeah.
See if you can
That just
neutralize
means-
that group. In the...
That just means he's the crap. He's number 2.
Yeah.
Yep. We got a Zinner in the group.
Or we should say, maybe Miles's pronouns are the, she, it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Something like that. You gotta say them fast though.
Casey, I had way too much fun this week upgrading computers.
Oh, you got the new one?
Yeah, the new CPU, motherboard, RAM came in for this machine. And so then I swap out the internals of this computer, put it somewhere else, and continued the hand-me-down line for about 3 or 4 computers in the house.
Yeah. You noticing better performance in Swift?
Oh yeah, I have much better single-thread performance, so I'm pegged at 60 frames a second all the time now. Full
Nice.
4K Ultra.
Did you put on a TV projector or what?
Say what? Oh, I'm on a TV. 55-inch TV.
Yeah, nice.
And then I have above the TV 2 27-inch monitors, so I can monitor all the Discord, live streaming, chat, banter,
Cool.
look up
That's
Googles. The one upgrade that I struggled with, I had a computer that did have a SATA SSD as its main drive, and I wanted to transfer it to NVMe because its motherboard now had a NVMe slot. And I was first trying to just do a direct clone and couldn't get it to work. So what I ended up having to do was image the entire drive off to some third drive and then restore the image to the new drive. And that worked.
Huh.
I think I'd installed like 10 different disk cloning pieces of software and bought a second drive that had access to a paid piece of software in the midst of trying to figure that out.
So did you have to pay tariffs on that hardware?
It didn't show on Amazon, but there was tariffs. Maybe they were already in the warehouse. I don't know. Prices
Yeah, but
were not
hopefully, anything.
They're not going to post the tariff anymore.
Yeah, I saw that press conference about the tariff thing. That was funny.
So Amazon says, I saw an article about potentially showing it, and Amazon says, no, we're not. Is that what
Yeah,
it
I
was?
said they were, and then
Trump called Jeff Bezos apparently and was like, "You're not doing this." So,
But was Amazon actually thinking of doing it, or did Trump think that he was going to do it and then reported that as fact?
who
Fake
knows?
news. All the fake news.
All that I have to say is I made an order from Italy, and I hope it gets ahead of the tariffs. So
We'll see.
it's hard to get any cycling products.
Yep.
So few are made in the U.S. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
of course, during COVID,
Yeah.
I probably screwed up and didn't get my bike before this whole tariff thing.
during COVID, everyone wanted bikes, so there was a bike shortage, and then everyone ramped up their manufacturing, and there was a glut of bikes. And now there's tariffs, so it's hard to get them into the U.S.
Yeah. Last year, I in that supply growth period, I took advantage of that and redid all the group sets on two of my older bikes. Moved one up to like full Altegra and everything. It was
Nice.
much nicer now. And it was only $500. It was a steal. So,
Yeah. So I saw a video from Silka. Are you guys familiar with the brand Silka?
yeah. Their pump?
Yep, they launched new pumps
Yes.
that can inflate your tires, replace CO2, but they are not selling them in the US because of tariffs.
Yeah. Yeah, they had, I think they said that they had shipped in 100 before.
Yep.
And they all got sold. And so, yeah. It's supposed to be a
Cool
really
little
good
product.
too. Yeah. And there's a bunch of those now, but I mean, Silka does a good job, so.
Yeah, that's always high quality stuff.
There was
Get what you pay
guy
for.
on Reddit. There's a guy on Reddit who posted that with the new tariffs on the Specialized bike, that it was cheaper for him to fly to Canada, buy the bike there, and then ride it back into the States.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I started thinking about that, and I was like, well, it's a good opportunity for, test bike ride home, but
well, I'm going to China in
Yeah.
June. Maybe I should get some graphics cards.
Yeah, there you go.
Put them on a trailer on your bike with your new bike.
And ride that back from China.
So apparently they took away the $800 limit as
De
of
minimis.
tomorrow. Yeah. So
We'll see.
anything I think you can carry would also qualify towards that, I would think. But who knows? I mean, it sounded like so I now have made it a point of mine to listen to NPR Marketplace every day, and they have really interesting insights on the whole tariff stuff. But so apparently, as of 2 weeks ago, the whole tariff duty collecting system was down and not working, and then as recently as 3 weeks ago, they had no means to collect tariffs at the ports, like the ports of entry at the major ports. So all these things were going to get sort of overlooked at the time. So I don't know if that came into some of the decision to, push back 90 days or whatever, but who knows?
It definitely feels like a big cluster.
Yeah.
Feels like it might just blow over one day also. Who knows?
or blow up in our face.
All the above.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like, we get right to the doorstep and then like the rules are changed every time. So, who knows? I mean, I'll say in the academic medical center area with the NIH cuts and everything, I mean, those are devastating. Those are, there will undoubtedly be universities and institutions and medical centers that will close as a result of that.
Oh, yeah.
There's, for my own institution, like, there's no way to recover from that. So it's, and I just heard, I spent 6 years at Duke. There's Duke just announced voluntary layoffs today with severance pay. So Duke's been under the bit of an NIH grant embezzlement thing about 5 years ago. And that really sort of screwed up the College of Medicine finances there. But part of the reason we laughed all the way too, but it's going to be a real mess.
Yeah.
But
As Wagz, you know, I work for a 911 center, and we're due for replacing our entire 911 phone system in about 2 years, and that's generally speaking about 2.5 to 2.7 million. And the company that we go through is Canadian, but everything comes from China. So we're kind of curious, like, okay, are they going to drop ship it from China, and then we pay those tariffs, or is it going to come from Canada? But we're ready. You always expect the cost to go up every 7 years when you get a new system, but we're expecting a pretty large increase this next time around, unfortunately.
So I heard it sounds like the way they're doing the metal tariffs.
Now you have to call 911 with a credit card in hand.
Yeah. The way they're doing the steel tariffs is that they're taxing based on the country of origin, not the country that it's coming from. Is the immediate predecessor, coming into the U.S. So they're doing country of smelting and country of pouring. So which country smelts the iron and which country pours the iron, and they're taxing them differently. Actually,
Whoever smelt it, dealt it. Sorry, couldn't resist.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, if it's made in China or Japan or something, even if it comes through Canada or Mexico or some other place, it's going to be assessed on the country of origin tariffs.
Yeah, we've already seen it on. We were getting ready to upgrade all the console on the dispatch floor for the CAD software.
Yeah.
Not computer-aided drafting, computer-aided dispatch. And I was going to be the test dummy for the new machines. So we got a quote on one, and it came out to be like just a hair under $2,000 for the new machine.
Yeah.
We get it, we order it, they cancel the order. Like, why'd you cancel the order? And Dale's like, oh, sorry. Oh, shut up,
Price is now
Amazon.
$2,500.
Well, basically, they lost the amount of parts they needed, so they canceled the order. So then we go to re-quote the order. Oh my God, hang on, my Alexa's going off like crazy.
He has one item in
Quick, order something, guys.
Shut up! Off! Okay, my wake word on this one is
Yeah, COMPUTER.
So then we get the new order, we get the new quote, and now it's $2,450. It went up like $500.
Yeah.
We're like, well, this is gonna. And when we have a total of 30 dispatch consoles, 30 times 500, it starts adding up.
Yeah.
Adds up really quick.
Wait, it doesn't start adding up before 50? Sorry.
Say what?
Bad.
Oh,
You said when there's 50, it starts adding up. I was like, so get 49.
well,
That's
yeah.
a bad joke.
No, it's all good. It's just, it was annoying because like I had all these, had to redo all my budget, and then have to go back in front of the board and be like, oh, we wanted this much. Yeah.
So did you guys have smart doorbells?
Yeah.
Yep.
What brand? Ring by chance?
Slage.
I've had my Ring for 5 years, and it's southern facing, so it gets a lot of sun exposure. And like the button, like literally, has started to like crack and come apart and like fall off because of the sun exposure. So I call up Ring and I'm like, hey. And they say, well, it's out of warranty. And I'm like, what? I've been paying your subscription for like 5 years and I have like 11 of your cameras. And they're like, we can give you a 35% off discount code for a new one. I did the math. Since I bought their most expensive model, it's still going to be over $200 to replace the whole thing when there was 10 cents of plastic that had gone bad. And I said, no, thank you. And they're like, are you sure you don't want the discount code? I said, if me accepting the discount code is stating that your repair policy is okay, then no. And they said, no discount code? And I said, 1-star review on Amazon incoming. Turns out they watched their Amazon reviews because I got an email a day later from their executive customer service team.
Oh,
Who looked at my account and said, oh, when you bought that one, you were on the lower subscription that doesn't have the forever warranty. And when you bought your other cameras and moved, this one was already out of warranty, so it didn't go under warranty. I was like, yet I still have 10 cameras under warranty and pay your highest subscription. He's like, okay, we'll hook you up. So
Which the
they're going to do the right.
cost went up, right?
Yeah, so they're going to repair it. They're going to replace it, which was the right thing to do, I think. But makes you think
That's
twice
good.
about electronics you buy for the outside of your house that have plastic.
yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately have a lot of Ring still. I'm slowly switching over to Unify,
Okay.
but I have a lot of Ring because they had a deal where they had some like Memorial Day sale going on or something,
Mhm.
where everything basically was like, this was before when they were cheap to begin with.
Yep.
And then everything went on sale. It was like right when Amazon got involved with them. And so they went super cheap. They had like 50% off of everything.
Yep.
And then they screwed up somehow. And their military discount was stacking on top of their 50% off sale.
Nice.
I basically, it like stacked another like, I want to say it was like 35% off after the 50%. So I did the math and I ended up buying like 4 times more than I planned.
Because they're
And
so
I was
cheap.
like, well, this cost, screw it. So I'm
I went with
unfortunately
Ring
very,
because their subscription to store the footage seemed like a good deal compared to time and money I would invest to store it myself.
yeah, and plus it has a good WAF factor, the wife approval factor.
Yes, the
Oh,
app,
yeah.
app is really
She likes
nice.
the app, so. But slowly been converting things to Unify because I prefer the whole local storage.
Have you looked at their AI key device recently?
Yeah.
You tempted?
Yeah. Just because that opens the door to like basically using any camera I want.
So the AI device is an appliance you plug in and it will process all of the captured footage and like use AI to annotate all the images with confidence levels and stuff. So later on, you can come back and say, show me all clips with a red truck pulling a trailer. Boom.
Yeah,
At least that's what it's...
Yeah, once Unify finally decided to allow all ONIVF or whatever it's called cameras, That was the tripping point right there.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
'cause, like
people are
Ring,
saying-
there's definitely vendor lock-in on Ring, which I'm not a huge
Yeah.
fan of, but
And there still is some disadvantages to non-unified cameras on a unified controller, but it's getting less.
oh, so there's a rabbit hole I forgot to tell you about. Before Ring executive customer service reached out, I had gone on eBay saying, well, maybe I can buy a broken one that still has a good button and swap it. So I bought a broken one for $30. And in order to get the button out, I think I had 40 screws and 5 circuit boards and 6 ribbon cable taken apart.
That's ridiculous.
And about 10 heat transfer pads. He's like, whoa. And I had even figured out that, okay, the one that's broken, I think I could actually pull out and maybe just shove a new one in. You can't necessarily pull a good one out, but since it's broken, it could come out. And I had ordered somebody in the UK who makes just these buttons and just sells these plastic buttons. But now I'll have an extra plastic button laying around that I don't need.
And your new button won't fit, your old button won't fit the new ones because they changed the size and the shape. And
No, I think it's the exact same. I suspect it's identical. They haven't changed anything.
okay.
We'll see.
That's good.
Well, given the fact that this is the plastic problem, means I'll be back here in 5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Oh, and
Have
I
you
think.
considered putting a shade up in front of the lock or in front of the door
Yeah,
to shade
yeah,
the sun and
yeah, like a
maybe buy
porch
you another
cover.
5 to 10 years? Yeah. Or heck,
Yeah.
just like a tiny little roof over your lock, just to cover the lock.
Well, that would block. It would have to go up pretty high to not block the video footage,
Yeah.
and to make it look decent. Now I'm spending several $1,000s on a on a porch. Now it would also make my front door not weather as fast. So there's certainly benefits, but most new builds have a awning porch cover over the front entry so that it doesn't weather as fast. But I mean, even if I had to pay full price, I think they're at $350 now for the model I bought, which had PoE and Ethernet. So I could buy a lot of those before buying a $3,000 awning.
You have an Ethernet hookup for your wheel belt?
Yes. It's
Wow,
powered
that's
by
nice.
PoE. It's PoE and Ethernet. I'm enough of a network nerd that I was like, I do not want to replace batteries. And in the very, very, very rare chance somebody attempts to jam my Wi-Fi, I'll be set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old PoE.
And so like all the
Yeah,
other,
by the way, we have a battery one. The way I figure is my wife needs to learn to close the garage door first before we can rely upon the front door being everything.
My kids always forget to shut the garage door, so now Home Assistant takes care of that.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, we have one of those MyQ systems, so at least I can see if the garage door is open, and it alerts me.
And it can auto close at a certain time of day if you tell it to.
It can. Yep. I have the MyQ system, but it doesn't integrate into Home Assistant, so I have a secondary device that
Rat
can do
GDO?
it. Say what?
The Rat GDO?
No, it's just a ESP board that I've wired in.
Okay.
Nice.
There's somebody who commercialized the.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, mine's just a ESP board taped to the ceiling behind the garage controller.
And how does it control the garage controller?
Just 2-wire. It acts like a button press, like if you had a wired remote.
Okay. So this device called the RAT GDO, which stands for Rage Against the Garage Door Opener, will plug into the same wires that your sensors and remotes and everything plug into. And basically, they've reverse engineered the communication protocol so they can turn the light on, tell you about the contact sensor, or have you control the door, know if the door is opening and closing. And it's completely local. And I think his price is like $50, $70 or something like that. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, I find the MyQ system to be incredibly limiting.
That's exactly the reason he created it.
The
Yeah,
only good thing about the MyQ one is it's stupidly cheap.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got mine on like Black Friday or Prime Day or something for like $10 or something, you know.
Yeah, and what's funny is it's cheaper to buy a whole new kit than a second garage sensor.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, they try to make up money on that one because it's funny because like one of the optional services is, I think it's like, I can't remember how much it is because I don't have a Tesla, but they offer a subscription so that your Tesla screen can control your garage door.
yeah,
And I'm like, that's dumb. If Mikey would just open it up and allow
Well-
Home Assistant, I'd be so much happier.
Yeah, I think the way Tesla did their garage door was it had to be through some IP controlled device, and they don't actually have an RF well, clearly they have a Wi-Fi radio, but they don't have like the RF transmitter you would need to talk to the opener directly.
But for MyQ to charge you $5 a month
For
to not
that,
have a freaking button in your Tesla is really annoying.
yeah.
called capitalism,
There's
baby.
there's an integration with Amazon too, but it used to always be free, but now it's only free if you do it like on a certain day or a certain thing. It's weird.
In garage delivery.
Yeah,
Yep, I stopped. They wanted $2 each time, and I was like,
Yeah.
nope. I think they realized they had it free because they wanted people to get used to it, and then add a charge. But I'm sure they figured out that they were losing money on the extra 60 seconds it took for every delivery for the driver to fart around with the door.
yeah,
I have enough cameras. I'm like, you know what? Leave it on the doorstep. I've got proof. I don't have that big a porch pirate problem.
My issue is our USPS driver doesn't put things at the door. He puts them in front of my garage, but not like,
And then you run over it?
well, my oldest son does.
Oh, jeez. Oh boy.
But mostly what happens is he'll put it up against the garage door, and not like in the column between the two garage doors, like on the garage door. So my son will get in the garage, open the garage up, start backing up, doesn't check his damn rearview cameras, and then, yeah.
Yep. First
And then the other issue is, well, I ended up having to go to the postmaster in our town. The postal guy, he would drive the little postal truck onto my driveway. No big deal, but I have a black asphalt driveway. Well, he would come flying into my driveway and like hit the brakes, throw the package, which ring footage, of course, at the garage, and then peel off. But he was going so fast and turning so hard so that he wouldn't have to back out, because he would actually do like a full loop in my driveway. He was tearing up the asphalt in the summer because he was turning his wheels like as hard as he could and creating ruts in the asphalt.
Oh,
I had the reflective numbers added to my front curb, so you can see like the door or the house number from the curb. It's right in front of my mailbox. And the USPS guy hits that curb like every day, and they're all bent in half and black now.
So it was it might have been 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember exactly, but the week of Thanksgiving, we get a notice in our mailbox, this handwritten note that says, your mailbox is not of legal height. If you don't change it by the end of the week, I'm discontinuing your mail service. Now, handwritten note on the back of one of our bills. Like, it wasn't like a piece of paper. It was like on our mail, the mail carrier wrote that. So I get this Monday night at 6 o'clock at night. It's winter. The ground is frozen. And they're wanting me to raise my mailbox by 4.5 inches.
You slashed his tires to make it taller?
Yeah. So I talked to the neighbor, they get notes too. And so I'm sitting the day before Thanksgiving, me and my dad are using picks, trying to dig out freaking ground because it's frozen to get a mailbox to the right height. And I kind of called the bluff. I was like, there's no way this mail carrier is actually going to do this Thanksgiving week when the ground is frozen.
Right?
Nope. They stopped service to half my neighborhood.
That's ridiculous.
wow.
Turns out, though, the mail carrier ended up getting fired because they were not supposed to write on people's mail. I guess that's an offense.
Right.
Yeah.
And they actually had a letter they were supposed to have been given out. And the letter actually said, you have until March 1st.
Yeah, right?
So,
yeah, definitely seemed like it was not official. For that kind of notice, they would need to give you months.
yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like lots of things around there.
Right?
And then only recently, we have 3 mail centers in my town, and the mail center that services my area, I guess, was ran by 50% postal employees and 50% third-party contractors.
Okay.
Well, they lost the third-party contract, and I don't know how they didn't plan for that. So they lost 50% of their workforce on a Monday. And then, quote unquote, they said that the rest of they had 80% of their staff out sick. So they only had 20% of the 50%. So I think it was a postal flu, more of a strike than anything. But we didn't get mail for 2.5 weeks.
Don't worry, the tariffs will make it so we can hire back all the government employees that Elon fired.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
And I got some swampland in Louisiana to sell you too.
Well, I've got beachfront property in Phoenix, Arizona. I'll sell you.
What was even worse was so we didn't get real mail for like 2.5 weeks. Packages, they didn't even start sorting the packages for 3 weeks. So like all the Amazon packages and stuff just sat in a warehouse. But the worst part was all those like food delivery services, like the ready-made meals or here's all the things. And even they didn't use FedEx, all that food went rotten. There was about 3 years ago, I can't remember which food service it was. It was one of those, we'll send you all the ingredients and the recipes, and here's all the raw food. We ship it overnight to you. Here's your week of groceries. Well, that company used OnTrack as their company. Well, OnTrack didn't have any service in my town. So they use a third-party company. So all the packages came to the third-party company's warehouse in Redmond. That third-party company went out of business and didn't tell OnTrack. So for like 2.5 weeks, the food company kept just shipping food daily via OnTrack, who would deliver it to the warehouse, and no one was there.
Oh boy.
So there's a news article about it, and the news got in there. There's this huge warehouse, like hangar-style warehouse, with just food boxes just horribly stacked everywhere. It was all this rotten food.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sounds horrible.
Oh, it was a mess.
Sounds like America to me.
America!
Don't worry, Casey. Every day I ride, I look at my Scotty the squirrel and I'm disappointed with my life choices.
Oh, is he still small?
Yep.
You gotta be getting close to 24 weeks.
I think I'm at 17 or 18.
Yeah, I'm in 19 too.
Well, like I said, it's not the size of your Scotty, it's how you use it.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
But I'll come up next. I'll come up next to you so you can see what a big Scotty looks like.
Oh my.
In the very early days of Zwift, and when we would do voice chat, anytime people would say something suggestive, we had a bell. And we'd ring it. Although I'm pretty sure my voice background filtering filters out the bell. Because I don't think you heard it, did you?
Nope.
I heard it. I heard you do the bell.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, no, just right now. Did you hear? I think I rung it enough that the background didn't filter it out. Because they have a app running to try to remove trainer noise, fan noise, etc.
Oh.
Well, it's really good. I don't hear any background noise on you at all.
Yep.
So,
No, your audio is always clean.
Starts with a microphone about this far away from my mouth that you can't see. It's super high quality. And then doing background removal processing on it.
I'm just using an iPhone sitting on the Zwift.
Nice.
I use Shots headphones.
Okay. I have the same headphones, but I just don't use their microphone because I have this other
Yeah.
one. But I will say,
Oh,
I've
are
used...
those the open air ones? headphones?
Open Air Run 2. Open Air Run Pro. Let's see.
I keep on looking at those.
Open Run Pro 2.
Yes,
I
that's
think
what I
it's
have.
what I have. Yeah.
So, I took them skiing. I put a ball of clava over them and
Yeah.
a ski helmet, and I could still answer phone calls while skiing and have a conversation with my wife using their microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, the new this model is pretty good. The like I can have somewhat of a conversation without my wife yelling at me when I'm riding a bike.
Yeah.
She's yelling at me because she can't hear me, not because I'm riding the bike. Although
That comes later.
That comes later. But the previous ones were pretty rough. The model right before this, like I've gone through, I think, 4 sets of these over the years. Yeah, the first one was really good, but the microphone sucked.
Rex Titanium?
The second set, I think it was like the original. I think I got it off the Kickstarter for it way back when, and then the second set was better microphone, really good audio, and then that one died, and like they wouldn't honor the warranty. It was like a month out of warranty or something.
Oh, jeez.
And I was, so I got the Open Run Pros, and they sucked. They're like horrible, and because like they released the Open Run Pros, and then it was like within a year or 9 months or something, they released the Open Run Pro 2s, and I think it was because the Open Run Pros sucked so bad, but they gave a pretty good warranty, and then they gave a really good discount, and they had like a 3-month trial period for the Open Run Pros, the Open Run Pro 2s when they came out, and like it was just such better quality.
Wow.
Like you couldn't go back. So
I upgraded all the way from the Trex Titaniums that I had bought in 2017. But because I never used the microphone, I just on Zwift, they, like my friends that had them at the same time, they got that like, basically it would break. They will use it so long it would break when they were taking it off, just from the plastic flexing too much. But mine were still functional, but the battery life had gotten pretty short. And so then, like 2 months ago, I got these Open Run Pro 2s, and they are awesome.
yeah, they're really good.
So what they do for the audio, Casey, is all the previous generations have been pure bone conduction only. And that means the bass will vibrate your head a lot, and it can be unsettling. So what they did on the Open Run Pro 2 and maybe some other models, they split the frequencies, and they have like a normal speaker pointed into your eardrum, and they put the bass through that. They call air conduction, like normal speaker, and then the higher frequencies are still bone conduction, and it makes the audio quality far superior and battery life much longer, because you're not vibrating your cheekbones as much.
Costco has one of the Open Runs on sale right now, and I keep looking at them.
Yeah, don't get the Open Run Pro once. Get the Pro 2.
Make sure they have the USB-C port. The ones
I refuse to buy anything that's not USB-C. If it's not USB-C, it doesn't come in this household.
Well, so the model 2 generations ago was a completely sealed unit. You could go underwater with it. They do have a swim model too that can go completely underwater.
Yep.
And I have to say, the Open Run Pro 2s, they have USB-C, and I don't know about you, Wagz, my little like rubber cover thing doesn't always cover the USB-C port well. So like I haven't taken these in like that range, but
I
like
wouldn't go
sometimes
swimming with them for sure.
yeah. So like, I think if I get into like a torrential downpour, then it might get a little damp in there, but we'll see.
But also the port is facing down when you normally wear it, so it shouldn't. Gravity should help.
Yeah, but who knows? Capillary action might bring it up.
Right?
What if you were inverted?
What if I was doing a backflip on my road bike in torrential downpour?
But I did take them on vacation with me, and like riding a bike in a gym on a cruise ship with, you know, like the room being 80 degrees and no fan. Like, I feel like that was a torrential downpour anyway. So, you know.
Yeah. My plastic port cover it always feels snug to me. And I take it out and in every day. I don't need to charge that often, but I do because I'm OCD, so that I can destroy the battery.
Yeah.
But if the battery only lasts 7 years, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I need a nap.
So Casey, have I told you I have Unify Network here also?
All right, let's have a contest. Who's got more access points? I mean,
I've got 3 plus 1 that's not deployed. They're the unit that sits over top a single gang box, powered over PoE, and gives you 4 extra Ethernet ports below.
Oh, I know from you. I like those. I don't have any of them, but those are nice.
It's like Wi-Fi 6 or 6E. It's not the latest. And then I have. Go ahead.
I think I'm at. Actually, lost count. I guess I should pull my Unify up. I think I'm at 6 access points.
Wow. 3 has been plenty for my house.
I just have 2.
The only reason I have so many is just because my property is big.
Yep.
I mean, it's not big. It's stretched out.
Yeah.
I got my garage is actually a second building.
What hardware are you using, Miles?
What was that?
What brand of hardware are you using?
I have a Netgear.
Okay. Sorry to cut you off, Casey. I didn't mean to.
Oh, no worries. And then I was decided to be bougie and put an access point in the greenhouse.
Oh, of course.
Because you got to be able to stream Spotify in the garden.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you know,
I'm embarrassed that you couldn't at some point.
Good Wi-Fi. Now, the real nerdy question is, Wagz, how many different separate VLANs and networks do you have?
Take a guess.
One now.
You're either going to be 1 or you're going to be more than 5.
1. I opened
10.
up my DHCP pool to 4,000 IP addresses because I was getting close to I think I had 180 active leases on my /24, and I said, I'll probably run out. So we're going to go to 4,000.
I have right now 76 devices just on the IoT network.
Okay. Yeah.
76 trombones.
So you've gone
Kids
multiple
have their own
VLANs
dedicated
then.
network.
Yeah.
The adults have a dedicated network, media, cameras, IoT, guest network.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole I decided wasn't worth my time. When my Wi-Fi password is on the QR code in my front room and is probably quite easily guessable, there's a lot easier ways to infiltrate things.
My biggest reason, when I initially set it up, had young kids just getting on the internet, wanted highly controllable,
Yep.
scalable, filtered networks for them.
Yeah.
So what I did was a routing table or a firewall rule for certain MAC addresses to shut off after a certain hour and on it back the other hour.
That's all Jim and Danny until iPhone came out with that randomized MAC feature.
Yeah, well, they don't know about that, and I know how to control their phones.
Yeah.
But yes, at the end of the day,
There's always a way.
there's always a way,
Yeah.
and it comes down to human behavior. You can never use technology to teach a human to do correct things.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What I
Sure.
recently discovered is my youngest son, he finally realized that, I'm blocked. Certain devices get blocked on the kid network when I misbehave, but I can add them to the guest network. I was actually quite okay, bravo. But I'm also why did it take you that long to figure this out?
You only get half a banana for that one.
So I just messed with him. So I set his device on the guest network to get half a meg down, which makes YouTube look like absolute garbage.
Right.
And so I just sat there and just waited for him to go, "What's wrong with the internet?" And I was like, "Nothing.
Worked for me.
What's wrong with the guest network?"
And did he go, Dad?
He goes, I was like, "How are you on YouTube anyway? Your devices are blocked." I looked at him, I was like, "You forget that I'm a network admin. That's my day job."
Right.
That's great.
Started in network admin years ago, and I've done several jobs where I was doing engineering of network-related devices. So I decided, you know what? I don't need that extra complexity at home. We're going one VLAN. I have enough other complexities.
I won't lie. As soon as the kids are out of the house and we move to the coast when I retire, nope, doing none of it. Everything's gonna be one big flat layer 2 VLAN.
It's gonna be fast as all get out and a ton of APs, so I can have coverage everywhere. But
I think the biggest thing is most people screw up and put everything on Wi-Fi. If it can be hardwired, I hardwire it.
I think we've had this conversation before. All of my TVs are hardwired.
Yeah. I mean, I bought the cheapest Amazon Fire Stick possible for the TV that I watched while I was lifting. And, it was on Wi-Fi and it was fine, but I was like, this is dumb. I have Ethernet a foot away from this thing, so $14 later, it's hardwired.
Let me say. Have you noticed
gotten to the point
that even the fanciest, most expensive 4K plus TVs only have 100 megabit Ethernet ports.
Yep.
Oh, really?
That's all they need.
Wow.
Plenty fast.
Yeah, it's all it needs. Yeah, the Fire Stick's little Ethernet adapter only negotiates to 100 meg.
I mean, full, even if you didn't have, well, so compressed 4K is like maybe 5 to 8 megabits a second.
Yeah.
If you had uncompressed, I don't know, maybe 80. I don't know. And that's
Yeah,
still,
I mean, you got to consider, even when I'm streaming a 4K video off my Plex server that's uncompressed, I'm hardly using the network.
exactly.
That's why I always get a kick in, like, people are like, oh, you got to buy that Cat 7 or Cat 8 cable. No. You dumb.
Well, I've been considering doing a 10 gig NAS, but no, like I can get a NAS that I would put just NVMe SSDs in it with a 10 gig port for like $500 plus however many NVMe's I buy, and it fits up to 8. So
Which NAS are you thinking about?
I think that's the TerraMaster, because you can run TrueNAS on it.
Yeah, I have an Unraid server for my NAS.
Okay.
Are you wanting your NAS to do more than just serve files?
Yeah, because honestly, I don't have that big of a need. Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking TrueNAS. I'll probably put Cortana on
TrueNAS
it.
is awesome. I've been watching the reviews of that new Ubiquity NAS.
Mm-hmm.
It does look pretty slick.
Well, one of the motherboard CPU RAM combos that I coupled down with my recent upgrade currently has TrueNAS loaded, and I just have to set up a disk, 2 disks for the storage to start playing with it. I don't think it's the hardware I'll go long term, but I at least want to play and try. So, for example, my son does 3D rendering and modeling in Blender, and its rendering is rather compute intensive. So I have as many computers as possible in the house set up as rendering agents, and they have to phone into a central manager. So I want to run that manager in Docker on TrueNAS, so it's just always going. The nerd level just went up about 50 points if you couldn't tell, Miles.
Yeah, no, I got that. I too would qualify myself as a nerd, but I'm on the periphery of my nerdiness here. I have some other nerd things that.
Do you even know what Docker is?
No, but other than that, I'm following along actually.
Okay, wow.
So I actually used to do. I was like a network administrator.
Okay.
In high school and college and stuff. So, and
not your average doctor when it comes to nerd. Look, he could dwarf us in acronyms, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have a few acronyms I could use, but I went to Case Western too for undergrad med school, and it requires that you have a certain level of nerdery to survive there. So.
Like, if you can't write C, you'll get a swirly.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So, yeah, our football fight song
100 digits of pi, you said?
9 digits of pi, just 9.
Okay.
It also included key phrases about exerting certain dynes from the offensive line. You know, so all sorts of good physics equations and things.
That's awesome.
So
Nerd alert.
yeah, I have a NAS here too, but we just use it for stupid simple things and backups and things. So
Man,
Synology,
it's a solid product, honestly.
yeah,
It's got a lot of functionality.
yeah. It's a very simple one. The price is right.
I will admit,
Yeah.
going true NAS is more complex and probably won't have as much software options. But the true nerd in me is more in this for the learning adventure than the actual NAS utility.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've certainly lost several weeks of my life to various deep dive rabbit holes into such things. So
Right. Whew. This climb is... I'm starting to feel it.
Yeah. And it looks like the math is going to be right at the end of the lap for the end of the ride.
A little before. But yeah. Oh wow, it does look spot on.
yeah, it's pretty spot on.
But it's hard to really tell considering every distance-based calculator on my screen is freaking different, Zwift.
Yeah. Well, this is it's a 100K ride, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll end right on the dot, pretty much. I think it ends right before.
When we
on
did when we
It's
finished
flat.
halfway, we were like half a kilometer or more away from the lap marker. So it's interesting that it seems...
Because the first lap had the lead-in.
Yeah, the lead-in. Yeah. The Happy 100 was on this forever, you know, and it would always end on that sort of false flat right before the finish of the lap.
Do you and I ever ride
I
the Happy
remember
100 together, Miles?
I
I led that
feel
way
like we
long
must
ago.
have- We must have at some point. Yeah, the numbers were dwindling this week.
Yeah,
So-
well,
I-
it's getting nice
know.
outside.
Yeah, but it was still a good crew. You know, I think it was like 9. I think we started with 11. We finished with 9.
Fred
Yesterday.
Boniface still
So,
hammer that?
no, he's nowhere to be seen these days.
You know the name?
So, yeah, I know. Brett. Yeah.
He was actually one of the organizers for a team out of Canada that invited me to race with them at Redlands shortly after I won state in Cat 3.
Oh, cool.
But the Redlands officials looked at my license, said, "You gotta be Cat 2, bro. Sayonara. Get out of here."
Really?
Yep.
That's too bad. No, I actually really love to get Brett going. You know, get him all worked
Oh,
up.
he'll get worked up easily.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like one of my favorite things. I with Brett. So. And I think like what Alex Gagnon is his cousin, I think.
No, they're not
And,
cousins, but they ride together a lot
Yeah.
on Swift. I know them both very well.
Yeah. But sometimes they'll get each other going. So
Alex was training for an Ironman in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I convinced
my wife that we should do a family vacation to Vancouver so that I could cheer him on. And we actually did it.
That's great. Yeah, we're actually coming out to Utah in June. Yeah.
What part of
Yeah,
June?
It's the week of the 20th, I think. So
I'll be in China.
We'll be in China. Okay. We're doing Zion and Bryce.
Oh.
Great place.
Yeah.
We did, in what particular hike? Have you picked your particular hikes?
No, not yet.
Honestly, there's not really a bad one. But
yeah,
what's the age group?
It's also a great place to ride a bike.
8, 6, and 3.
Okay.
For the kids.
So I would not recommend the Narrows. That's too much. There is one called hold on, looking at Strava. I did it. We added some on, but it's called not Angel's Landing. Not that one. Come on.
It's so hard to pick in that area. There's so many good ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting there. Come on. Emerald Pools. Emerald Pools.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
I think if you just go there and back, it's 2-ish miles.
Okay.
Does have a little bit of climbing, but and there's like 2 distinct pools you can stop at and eat lunch, hang out, whatever. It's not like a swimming pool, but there is water. Probably pack your own water. Also, the other thing you can totally, because it's buses only in Zions, you can also ride bikes. And it's like wide open and beautiful. It'll be tricky to convince your wife that you can ditch her and go ride your bike, but it could be possible.
Well, I'm bringing mine, so I negotiated that.
Where are you staying?
Right through Zion. 100% do it.
We're staying. There's a sort of glamping place south of Zion that we're staying. Can't remember the name of it. It's like a Marriott branch, but it's glamping. And then there's a new place that I think just opened today actually in Bryce, Clear Sky Resorts. It's like one of those Stardome places.
Okay.
And they're obscenely expensive.
Sure.
But they have put your reservation in before this is finished, sort of a thing, 50% off. So we did that. So hopefully it's open. It should be amazing.
My recommendation on riding in Zion would be take your bike, go park close to the entrance, go do your hike with your family. Your wife and kids will probably be done after a couple hours. Then you go back, send them home in the car. Then you can go spin around in Zion Park and then ride home. That would be probably a good way to do it.
Yeah.
That's what my brother did when we went.
I did a bike ride through Zion and Bryce the year before I joined the Navy. It was a 7-day tour.
Okay.
Where every day do 100 miles.
Ooh.
It was always either Bryce, Zion, or just all that area. Started in St. George. Almost the most unbelievable roads I've ever ridden on.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
So,
Yeah, looking forward to it. So, yeah, I'm taking my road bike. I don't plan on going off road much or anything, but I don't think I'll need to really.
There's plenty of good
Yeah.
roads.
I loved how the roads are red down there because of the rock.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, we're flying out. We're flying into Las Vegas, and then we're flying out of Salt Lake. So I think Lexi and I are going to meet up at some point, and then James Ferguson too at some point. But we'll figure it out too.
They're both out of Utah?
Yeah, Lexi's in Ogden.
Really?
Yeah.
The guy who was
and,
just on this ride, Matthew Lefty or
Yeah.
whatever? Huh.
Yeah, he did that. He did that 24-hour record at Envy.
Yeah. Oh, he
So,
did?
Yeah, I was at Envy headquarters.
Okay. I've been there.
And then Ferg's. I can't remember the exact town, but he's right on Salt Lake too, if I remember correctly.
Huh. See how much I get outside?
Yeah, right.
This downhill feels nice. Miles is like, what downhill? I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah, our China trip. So my son's a freshman, and he's been doing the Chinese club at high school for a bit now. Like he could do it when he was in middle school. And they're organizing a trip, and it's like subsidized by the Chinese government in some fashion. So basically you just pay for flights, and my wife and all the rest of my kids can go. So we're taking 7 people to China. I think my wife and I have to pay for some of our hotels. But like all of our kids, we just pay their flights, and food, entertainment, lodging is all covered when we're there. You can guarantee we're going to have propaganda on every bus ride right in front of all of our faces.
Undoubtedly. That'll be good though. I've always really wanted to go over there.
Yeah, we were planning to do it for like his senior trip, but then they said this was the last year that subsidized funding was in place, and we're like, well, shoot, if they're organizing the logistics, that's way easier. Let's get on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
I have done the logistics planning for a family of 7. We took them to Brazil in December because I speak Portuguese, and it was a lot of work. But
Yeah.
worth it.
Sounds like a nightmare, that much logistics.
It can be overwhelming.
And costly.
Fact. But flights to Brazil were cheaper than China.
Really?
China is about $2,000 round trip per person, roughly. It's like the furthest place away on the globe you can go from the States. At least very close to it. Australia is in the same boat.
How many hour flight is that?
So we fly to Dallas and then turn around and go Dallas to Hong Kong. Dallas to Hong Kong is 16 hours.
Yeah.
That's
Plus-
no fun.
plus the 3 hour into Dallas, and then an hour and a half out of Hong Kong into our final stop in China. Well, our first stop in China. So I think I want to say from when we like leave the house to when we'll probably leave the airport, and our first stop in China is like 30 hours or something silly like that.
Yeah, that distance is just, it's such a barrier to go. I did Singapore once, and man, you know, just so long. In Australia too.
Yep.
I think we were like 22 hours on a plane going to Australia from North Carolina.
What's interesting is if you were to go, at least for China, the most direct route would take you straight through Russia.
Yeah,
And
like
so
north, right?
you have to go, you have to avoid Russia, and it adds like 1,000 kilometers.
Well, you don't want to add some fun and excitement to your air travel? I always find it funny when you go on like the Flight Radar 24 Facebook page and people are like, why is this plane going over the North Pole? It's so much straighter if they go straight across.
Oh my gosh.
And you're like, oh boy.
Thank you, Flat Maps.
Yeah, flat fighter.
We have royally screwed up our society with flat maps.
Yes.
Well, speaking of which, God told women he'd put loyal and obedient husbands in every corner of the earth, and then he made the earth round.
True.
You can flip that either way you want.
Oh boy. That's awesome.
So when I flew to Singapore, I was still at Duke, and they had some sort of an arrangement with Delta that there was like this intermediate between like business class and coach that they would book us for, and like they had these amazing travel agents. They would get you like the exit row every time. It was amazing. But like I was coming out of Tokyo to Seattle on the way back. It was like a 12-hour flight, and the guy that was sitting next to me, like it was like this area where it was like an open bar, so you could order whatever, and the guy starts ordering like right as soon as he sits down. He's like, "Could I have 2 bottles of sake?" And the stewardess is like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then like I'm sort of watching him, and he's like downing this Benadryl, and then he starts like drinking these bottles of sake like it's water. So the dude ends up having 12 bottles of sake, like these little single serve versions, like no joke. Plus like what I think was at least 50 milligrams of Benadryl, if not more. And he fell asleep. He was out. Just like completely out. Like I sort of was like checking on him that he was still breathing for a while. But, like, he just sort of like calmly woke up when we landed in Seattle. Got off the plane. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, and he probably can't remember anything.
He figured out a strategy
Yeah.
to reset his circadian clock.
Yep, exactly.
Hard reset.
Look at that. I got to level 100 again. Didn't even notice it.
That's
Again.
poor little me all the way down
Just
to level
started brand new
63.
account.
Hey, what, Miles?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I said, how do you reach 100 again?
Because once you get to 100, it just keeps incrementing up, and once you fill it again, you get 50,000 drops, or 500. I forget what the number is, and you just over and over and over. You never go past level 100.
Interesting.
I feel like they must have a counter somewhere. Like, I wonder who the
Number of hundreds.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a,
that's an interesting
people
topic because it
Yeah,
depends
yeah.
how long you've been on Zwift.
yeah.
Don't get me started.
I was gonna
Like-
say, if Eric was in here and this conversation was happening, oh boy, it'd be good afternoon.
Well, you got maybe 10 minutes. You can do a 10-minute version of a
So
rant.
early on, there was only like level 50, and then after you got to level 50, you just basically kept riding and got nothing. And they would up the levels. But when they got to 100, it was like instead of giving you everything you had banked, you had to earn it at an accelerated rate. But then, like, basically, I had already earned level 100 4 times, and I was only at level 80 or 85 or 90. And so all the repetitive times that I would have, or wasn't it, was like the number of rider points you need for level 100. I had, it was 800,000, and I had 2.5 million, which means I would have like literally done the whole progression, not just the final level, 4 times. And so by the time I finally got to 100 with the slowly eked out experience points, I did the math and I got robbed of like 2 or 3 million drops that I should have gotten from having completed level 100 that many times.
And Zwift won't credit you that amount of drops? Like,
Nope.
I guess, no.
So they didn't give you the drops back then when you would go through like 100 does now?
I mean, I didn't play it out exactly. What they did was like, okay, you're at level 50 now, and you're going to earn at 2x the rate per kilometer until you get there. But all the stuff that I had earned during the time when I was stuck at 50, lost.
Yeah.
All that time when level 100 didn't exist. And all these other people start later anyway. So there's complexity. What you want to do is not look at people as level. If they've been around a while, look at their rider score, which you can only view if you're the same person. I don't think you can see another person's rider score. But effectively, every time you're getting like plus 20 per kilometer or 30 per mile, that's what's going to your rider score. That is different from drops. It's not the same thing. It always increases, it never decreases. And that's effectively how they track your level.
I was sort of lucky. I got to level 60 or whatever the cutoff was, like right at the time they did the expansion of 100. So it wasn't much.
I mean, what would I do with the 3 million drops I'm owed? Not complain, I guess. So at least now I get to complain.
There you go.
But I would find something else to complain about, so don't worry.
So at this point, have you purchased everything there is to purchase in the garage or the drop shop?
So plenty of people have more drops than me, but I had about 58 million when the whole bike upgrade thing came out. And for a while there was a hack where you could leave your avatar sitting on the side of the road and earn time towards the TT bikes that needed TT upgrades. So I might have had my rider sitting on the side of the road for like 2 weeks straight. And now I only have like 24 million drops because I spent so many on bike upgrades, and I bought one of the Halo bikes. And anyway.
Right. So if I see time on bike required, now I'm guessing I have to be moving on the bike.
Yeah,
I don't know what they need to patch it, but yes, you. Before it was like you could late join an event and just never pedal, and your avatar would come to a stop, but the time would keep incrementing, and you could just sit there. But don't worry, I did have to pay for all that electricity, so it's not like I got those upgrades for free.
Yeah, perfect. Totally free.
You earned them.
I paid for them. I paid for that electricity, baby. Don't worry, there's plenty of people who have this thing called an AMP Plus emulator, which take a wild guess at what it does.
I don't think I can guess.
Feeds in peak power and heart rate data.
It does what the name says.
And so I have, and when you do that, you earn drops at the same time. So, so those people are doing just fine.
Well, I'm going to see what a level 5 beach cruiser does as soon as I can.
Is the beach cruiser considered Zwift brand?
It must be, because I got.
I would assume.
I'll
Yeah, I would
check.
assume.
So,
But the first upgrade is 100 kilometers, which is exactly this ride. So
okay, there you go.
it'll be level 2 by the time this ride is done. And it looks
Don't
like we
forget
have
to
7 people
pay
now,
for the upgrade
and not
before you
50.
exit Zwift.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
It will start counting
don't-
time into the next level. But if you don't pay for the upgrade before you exit, the time on the next progress on the next level gets lost, but you can still buy the previous level on the next time.
Okay, so if I'm like min-maxing, then I should exit the ride immediately before, and not just like bum around the ride. Like I'm pretty
Well,
sure
no.
I can't access the shop in
You
while
have to
I'm
be
pedaling,
stopped.
right?
Yeah, and just before you exit the game. So like when you're at the summary screen, go to your garage. You can ride for longer, that's fine. Just don't exit the game before having gone to the garage and getting your upgrade.
I got it.
Which is silly that you can't do it while riding.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So you can't
Yeah.
access your garage while you're outside, right?
Yeah. I have a mobile garage. Don't you guys all
You have
have
to tow
a
it behind you.
big truck that follows you every time you ride? Or that you follow it?
It'd be a great
Oh, wait.
drafting mechanic.
This KOM sponsored by Velo Fix Vans. Yes, they led me out. Ugh. So close. 3K to go. Miles is already in the shower eating breakfast.
Nah, I jumped over to Applewood.
Oh, Casey, you troll.
You know it. If I ain't stirring the pot, what am I doing? Can't wait to jump off the bike and have some pancakes.
What kind of pancakes?
What kind of syrup, most importantly?
I don't know. I generally don't do too much syrup. I'm not a big syrup guy. I know we just throw a bunch of raspberries on top.
That's nice.
Can't wait till the farmer's market's open back up and I can get freaking fresh fruit all the time. Problem is the farmer's markets think they're selling gold now. Go to buy a pound of raspberries and I'm like, excuse me? You guys take loan applications?
Do you take direct retirement transfers?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, really good berries, but ugh.
How much of that is in drops?
Yeah.
Like drop to your knees and beg.
Yeah.
So I've had, sticker shock when I moved to Europe. How much is a flat, like, I don't know, a pound of berries now, raspberries now, in the height of summer? Well, like, I hear egg prices are going up. But again, I've been in Europe for 2 years. I kind of missed all of that.
My neighbor was joking with us when I had my family over for Sunday dinner, and he said, "Tell your family to not park in front of my house. I'll egg their cars." And my wife says, "You can't afford that many eggs."
Yeah, I mean, you gotta consider, years ago we used to throw toilet paper at people's houses and egg them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now you do that and it's totally a wealth flex.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing about buying eggs in Europe, they don't do a dozen here. It's just 10. I guess intuitively that makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
But boy, did it take a long time for me to get used to buying 10 eggs. Like,
What is
the
that,
unit
like
should be a
hot
dozen,
dog
god dang it.
buns?
They don't do hot dog buns here either. It's they definitely do sausages, but they don't eat them in hot dog buns.
Well, Wagz wins the sprint. No contest.
Oh, I didn't realize he was going for it. Ah, well, it's way too late. Didn't catch it.
Oh no, bummer. I'm too slow. Oh.
Oh, there's a stage 1 upgrade available.
Yes.
Purchase in your garage today.
Oh,
Oh, thank you for the ride.
you're great, right, guys.
Thanks, guys. Time for me to go eat pancakes. Talk to you later.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out too. So, see you guys.
Casey.
Have a good rest of your day.
I'm going to spin out that sprint. Let my heart rate come in.
Ah, yes.
And Twitch, we are going to go raid somebody. Like this guy.
I saw you hit something like 10 watts per kilo, 11 watts a kilo. So what is your peak power over there? Or your like 2-second power?
Today it was a little over 1,000. In the past, it's been 1,200.
Cow. Holy cow.
Okay, Twitch. Raid's gonna come up. We're gonna send you all to this EMG FPV, which I think he actually speaks Portuguese. And Facebook and YouTube, you're gonna get the outro scene. Okay, guys.
Thanks for the ride, Justin.